Hi, it's me. So, beautiful sunshiny day. TGI Friday, right? It's Friday. Hey Terry, how are you, honey? I'm at the seaside, soaking up the sunshine, some vitamin C with Buddy. Been feeling very poetic today. So, I'm tuning in for the first reason is that I've been wanting to tune in the past couple days, but I've been having to take a little self-care, downtime, nurturing, really just doing the best I can in nurturing my physical body as well as my mind. And I got something going on with my lips, so I'm going to share that in a little bit, but that's why I titled this Lip Service. So this is also meant to be an engagement here. I'm going to encourage you to write in the comments. I'm going to have some questions for all of y'all. We've just come through a solar eclipse. We're planting new seeds. What it is we desire, what is it we want to leave as our legacy. And in all honesty, we have to embrace who we are first so that we can embrace everyone and everything around us. So we always have to do a check-in. For myself, I try to really look within and go, am I being authentic? And I ask you all to also provide me the feedback and hold me accountable. If you feel that something I'm saying is inauthentic, I want you to reach out and speak to me, because I'm here to provide you my experiences and hopefully inspire y'all to do the same for you. I'm not here just for myself, though it's, again, this beautiful, synchronistic, this divine flow that when I show up and then I work on myself, I know that I'm not just doing it for myself. It is for the greater whole. It really is about embracing all aspects of ourselves and not beating ourselves up. The past couple of days have been so, powerful for stepping into our divine truth, our inner knowing, and not allowing the external to take us out of that space. I had to run out yesterday to pick up some stuff, and I went into a grocery store where a woman who just got off the phone, she immediately started to beat herself up about how, stupid me, I just, now I got to start all over again, I'm going to have to call back. So, when you call those phone numbers and you have to hit those buttons, that you hit the wrong button, you usually have to hang up and start all over from scratch. And I looked at her, and she kind of was a little bit down about it, and I said, honey, remember, you got to be kinder to yourself. It's all good. It's perfect. And she was so sweet, and I really felt like I brought up her day, because she said, thank you so much, because now you've made me feel a lot better about it, and I don't feel so bad. And I said, yeah, you know, all that negative self-talk, that's what takes us out of our power, And I said, and if anything, I'm sure that you have, made someone's day, because at the same time, I said, I think it was, I said something, and she goes, well, thank you for letting me be reminded about that. And then she said something, and I said, thank you, you just made my day. And I said, you see how that goes? We create this divine flow that when I pay a compliment, a genuine, it's coming from my heart. I try to keep the compliments as positive as possible when I'm interacting, especially with people I don't know, and engaging and having these dialogues. It really is receptivity. It really is about going out and communicating with people, and it doesn't always feel comfortable, right? So you have to step out of the comfort zone. The idea that, I don't know, confrontation with another person brings up our own stuff, and sometimes that can be uncomfortable, but it's in the discomfort we grow. When we put ourselves out there, we're doing it to allow ourselves the vulnerability in showing up so that we can be better each time, that we can really conquer and face our fears, our biggest fears most of the time are the fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, the fear of not being liked. It's all in the same category. So when you go out in public and maybe you feel uncomfortable because, that person's looking at you a wrong way, or this person looks like they're judging you, don't worry about it. It's none of your business first. And it's funny how simple smiles or kind words of, hi, how are you today? How are you feeling? Little things like that can just shift a person's day. In addition, like when I go to the grocery store, I do like to know the people's names. I like to say, hi, how are you today, Callie? Oh, I noticed you're not wearing one of your bracelets. This is a woman at a cashier at a particular grocery store that I go to regularly, and she immediately recognizes my necklace, my John of God pendant, which I get a lot of compliments on. And then she also notices my intention bracelets. And so just the other night, she wasn't wearing one, but I recognized her, and I said, oh, I noticed you're not wearing a bracelet. And she said, no, I forgot. And she goes, oh, who are you wearing today? And last night I was wearing, it's a signature James Van Praagh bracelet, and it's to remind you of the mantra, and it goes like this. Healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. You say it 3 times. Healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. Healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. Healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I, and so it is. And you just allow that. And really, the most powerful is when you really feel, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. And you can look at the word holy as H-O-L-Y or H-O-L-E-L-Y, because we want to be whole. Even if you don't think you're holy in the sense of blessed, we all are. That just being here, we are. So that was beautiful, and I know, like just now walking down the trail, Buddy's got his sniff game going on. He pulls over to a young kid who's sitting on a park bench, has his feet resting on his skateboard, and he goes over and he just immediately says, hey, in his doggy senses. And the young man, he was like, oh. And I said, isn't it funny? I said, you must be a good person, because even Buddy notices, and Buddy notices all the good people, because that's what animals do. They recognize the good in all of us. And this young man, he lit up and he started petting him. And as soon as I said that, Buddy just nosedived in, where the animals end up, because he was loving up that attention. And I was saying, if you ever questioning if you're a good person, all you got to do is find a pet to pet, and they remind you. Sometimes we forget, I'm a good person. I deserve love. This animal is reminding me through its expression. It's impersonal, unconditional, hey, I love you. Okay, yeah, you may feed me, you may, cuddle me and kiss me and hug me and hold me. But ultimately, I see the good in you. So sometimes we need that little reminder from the furry babies. So that was really sweet. And that made both my day, Buddy's day, and this young man's day. So yeah, it's in those interactions we sometimes are reminded of how beautiful life is and how you can go through these amazing encounters, and it boosts you and it boosts another person. And so to me, one of the reasons I love community is because the opportunity to engage is an opportunity for growth. That when we're interacting, it's always going to tell us where we're at. If you encounter somebody in a good space, that shows you must be in a good space, and vice versa. And even if maybe you're not fully, maybe you're having a down moment, maybe you're having a little bit of a, like I say, contraction going within, somebody on the external may show up to you to remind you, well, you must be doing something right, because they're showing up happy. And they're mirroring where you are, where you've been in your most recent states. So even if we're having those experiences that feel like they're challenging, it's usually the universe showing up to say, hey, Where are you at? Are you in reaction mode or are you in response mode? Are you in your ego or are you in your heart? How are you going to show up to this repeated event? Something that in the past might have taken you out into crazy land, like, I am going to go off on this situation, could truly be what grounds you and you go, whoa, I overcame that. And that's going to give you that nice boost of happy hormones, right? Like, look what I just encountered and I handled it differently. I showed up in a completely more empowered state from my heart space for my own self-care and love that I didn't allow. Oh, thank you, Patty. Thank you, I appreciate that. That I didn't allow it to take me out of my purity, my pureness and wholeness of peace within, because we only encounter chaos outside of us when it's still occurring and existing within us. Now, that's not to say it ever goes away fully. It depends on you. It's how you show up with it. Do you live in constant fight or flight, or are you finding yourself these days a little bit more reflective and gratitude for those peaceful moments so that you're creating more of it? And so, like last night, yesterday I was having that day. I was having that day where I was really thinking about, what is freedom? What is freedom to me? And what does it feel like? And what does it look like? And what does it taste like? And what is it, right? Freedom is really letting go of the attachments. It's releasing expectations and stopping that suffering that we create by holding on to our ideals and our belief systems and what everybody else thinks of us and what we think we should be based on what somebody else told us, and repatterning, rewording, utilizing the right dialogue to uplift yourself, keep you in a higher vibration, to not bring you down into the dredges of the muck, right? Because you've been there and now you want to be that lotus coming up from the mud, right? That freedom to me is just being me, unapologetically, ridiculously, authentically, right? That there will be nobody else like me. There will be nobody else like you. Showing up in the moment, just being appreciative, in a state of gratitude, in absolute bliss. Not always easy, and you know what? It's okay when you step out of that too. And that honoring it all, and that when you resist, it persists. So when you release and embrace even the stuff that doesn't feel good about you, especially when we have been so judgmental and not embracing our fullness of us, what I have found for me, that the more and more I repeat the same lesson, it's just an opportunity to finally get it, see the blessing, and let it go. If I re-encounter, whether it be internal in my mind or external in my experience, it's always an opportunity, an open portal, an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for getting to know myself better. And also to show others that we don't have to keep in that constant cycle like the hamster in its wheel. We don't need to move in the same way. We can learn to, I love to dance. Let's just be fluid. Life is meant to flow, and if you can go with it, it'll come to you. This dance, it's a union. It's the freedom of expression, the freedom to recognize that even amidst all of your hurts and pains, that is part of you. You should honor that all. And notice that it doesn't dictate your worth. There's no need to judge it, to put it in a box, right? To just allow it and be with it and thank it and just be like, wow, okay, I came this far. Freedom is not being attached to all that, to the point where you're either stuck in the judgment of it or just really wanting to just, oh, I don't know, I can't, the shame of it, the guilting of it. Don't shame yourself, don't blame yourself, release the guilt. That just holds us back from the opportunity of growth. So I'm going to come into this. I don't know how much of this is really visible, but it is kind of painful. So I want to share this with y'all because maybe somebody else out there is going through this. And there's a big irony in what all is going on here. So I know how sensitive I am and why I have to be very attentive and ask questions when I go out in public. When I go to restaurants, to establishments, or someone's house, I do get a little lazy sometimes, and the reason is because I have been very blessed to go places and feel like I didn't have to worry about anything. And then when I do that, it lets down my guard. And so if I stop asking questions because maybe I'm afraid that somebody's going to get annoyed by my 10 million questions, or maybe I just become complacent and think, oh, well, everywhere else I've been has been good. And when they say gluten-free or they say this free or that free, then I'd be okay. And so, lips. It's really probably not as bad looking as it may appear. It hurts to open my mouth because it's mostly in the corners. When I was a little girl, I used to get impetigo really bad. And I know a lot of it had to do with the yeast, and now I'm looking back, but back then I didn't know. My mother used to tell me, oh, just lick it. And I get it in the corners of my mouth, and I go like this, because my mother was saying that, oh, your enzymes should heal you. Because back in the day, that was the way she was raised, that you're supposedly having this immune system, it's supposed to be strong, and when you're young, you should be able to clean and clear with your own enzymes, your own bacteria, your own saliva, right? Just like they used to say, if you had a cut, and I know this from various cultures, you go and you put the salt water, the seawater, fresh on the cut, and it will heal quicker. Well, these days you don't know what's in the water either, right? So there's kind of a like, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I still like to believe that it does heal. So when I was younger and I used to do like my mother said, and I'd lick it, it would get worse. It would create like a cold sore or a canker. More so I'm going to say cold sore because a cold sore coming from a virus, whereas this I believe is more of a canker, which is a reaction. It started out a little blistered up underneath of my lip. It was almost immediately after having a shot and some juices the other day. And you know what? I don't even need to know what it was, but in all honesty, it was a reminder to just be more attentive. Not to beat myself up about it, not to try to go, oh, someone else did this to me, because really that's not how I feel. I feel like I just simply could have been a little bit more attentive and care, ask the questions. But also, from a manifestation point, the irony is it's intertwined. The lips, it's about communicating. And what was I holding back that now this is like festering, right? What is this coming up? And sometimes that can also be your expression of your truth. We tend to hold our voices, we close our mouths, and now this is all happening. And so I kind of looked it up on Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, just to see, and it was just ironic. Now here's the other thing that I thought was funny, is last night before I went to sleep, I took out my necklace. I use it as a pendulum sometimes. And this is how I map my moon cycles, my moon centers. Now there's two different things, the moon cycle being the woman's menstruation cycle. And the moon center, because we have technically 12 as women and 11 as men, when I did the pendulum to figure out which moon center I'm in right now, wouldn't you know, the first one I picked, I said, let me see, am I in my lips? Sure enough, where do you think I am? In my moon center of my lips. You can't make this stuff up, y'all. I don't know how to explain it, but this is just like the irony of my life. And I just see it all in awe, really, because life is awesome, that the signs are all there. You've got everything you need to know in you. You don't need to ask someone else for what is causing this, and you don't need to place blame on anybody else. Really, there's no blame, no shame. Don't guilt yourself and don't allow anybody to point fingers at you. Because when you allow someone to do something to you, it's only because you've allowed yourself to be open to it mattering more than your own, right? So, yeah, and I actually feel like this is going to just be a couple more days because my body is rather quick at healing. And so I've been keeping it moist as much as possible, but it's almost basically like I'm getting a shedding of my lips. When it first started, I was like, yesterday morning I had a phone conference early, and I just went to wipe the corner of my lip and it took off the skin, and then the other corner and it took off the skin, and I'm like, and I felt it and I was like, no. So it's almost like a burn. And then when I was looking in the mirror, I was like, oh my God, it looks like I had a bad lip job, huh? Never had my lips plump, just saying. But you know what I mean? And that's no judgment on anybody who has. I just felt scared of all that stuff that they do. So yeah, I was looking, and I did a little video to one of my girlfriends because she kind of knows I have an allergy to pineapples, to wheatgrass. And I said, I don't know. It doesn't seem like pineapple because I've had some pineapple and it didn't do this nearly as quick. And I knew we didn't eat anything with pineapple. And I do once on occasion have a little piece here and there, and it doesn't ever do this. I said the only other thing I could think of is maybe the juicer, hadn't been cleaned properly. And then if they're constantly running stuff through it, then that's the only contamination that could have caused it. And that's okay. I'm not even going to get upset about it because I didn't ask the question. And I take full responsibility for my own inactions or lack of questions. And it's all perfect. It just, again, it's all an opportunity to see the blessing and the lesson. And I'm extremely grateful that I had that experience, because I wouldn't have reminded myself that you just can't assume. Because what does assuming do, y'all? Makes an ass out of you and me. Jaw. Yeah, think? So here's where I would really appreciate some lip service from all of y'all. And in the terms of accountability, I'm going to ask a favor of any one of you who is watching, because those of you especially who've been watching me for a while, I would really appreciate some feedback. Feedback on how you feel I've maybe helped you. Feedback on what you think of me. Do I show up in a way that you feel is authentic? How would you relate to me? Do you see me as similar to yourself? Do you respect and value me? What I say, what I share? Whatever it is in your terms, your words, that you can really think of that comes to mind when I speak or I share or I just show up. I mean, because I don't even want to say I'm not coaching anybody. I'm just showing up as I am. I'm sharing my experiences and what I'm going through right now and throughout my life. I do that because I feel like we can have that open dialogue, and it allows others to maybe feel inspired to do the same for themselves. But, oh, that's super sweet, Laura, and I truly appreciate that. Like something like that. Do you feel, see, there's so many overused words, so I don't necessarily want to use any to plant them in your feedback, but I'd like to know, when you look at me and maybe you listen to me, what comes up for you? What stands out? How can I provide more for you? How do you feel I've served you so far? I don't want to use the words like, see, and if I put them out there, I don't want to, power of suggestion. So you, when you're hearing me, when you're seeing me, whether at this video or another video you've seen me in, I'd really appreciate a little feedback and just hearing how it is you feel about what I've presented in previous broadcasts, previous lives, videos, maybe even some of my writing. How does it resonate with you? What would you like to see me do more of? Do you have any particular topics or that you'd like me to discuss? Do I bring you peace? Do I dredge up anger? Do I maybe inspire you to be reflective and pensive? Do I sound peaceful? Do I have like an air of something that doesn't resonate? Do I ever come across insulting? These are things I need to know for my own growth and how I can better serve you. And so that's why I'm asking the questions and why I'm asking for you to speak to me wherever it is that you feel that I'm coming from, because that's going to help the most. For me to show up for you, and then there's this synchronistic open dialogue, which is what I really appreciate the most. I love having those types of conversations where someone says one little thing and you go, oh my gosh, thank you so much. It was that one little thing. And I think everybody does this for one another, but I want to be able to show up in the best capacity I can for all of you. So yeah, that's what I'm asking, if that helps, if any of you can come up with anything. Look at the sunshine. My face is all like funky. So like, see, if I play with the lighting in here is just, oh, I like playing with the mask sometimes, right? Oh, that's better. And so, thank you, Kathleen. Calming in the sense of breath and letting go of things that have no control, growing inside. Oh, thank you so much. Because that's the other thing for me. I really like to use more uplifting words, because I find that when we use the old dialogue, like, you know, the angry words or the trigger words that are overused often. Hi, Heather, honey. Happy birthday to you. I believe your birthday was the other day, and I apologize. I was really kind of having a little bit downtime myself. So I hope you had an amazing, blessed day, dear. When we use those old words or tell those old stories, we're recreating them, we're reliving them. These are the things that we need to work on rewriting. And so that's where it's so helpful for myself to take those deep breaths, to really go within and breathe into the spaces that maybe I feel anger. Like when you get upset at something or about something or at someone, it's really always originating with ourselves. That when we take a moment to reflect, hey, good. It gives us the opportunity to sense where we're feeling it in our body, where it's maybe a restriction within. And if we're coming from our heart or our head, and we can really reflect upon how can I move through my life a little bit more fluid. Oh, thank you. Because I really believe the breath is the most important thing, that life force prana. And so when we have those moments of tenseness and we hold our breath in, so we're holding life against ourselves. We're not embracing it. We're not open to that fluidity. We've shut it down when we tense up. And that constricts and restricts us from living fully, right? That we can rewrite our stories. We can speak of our past in a more ideal, loving way, that, wow, you know, I had these certain experiences, and even though at the time they didn't feel good, I can see how they served me in the moment now and brought me to this beautiful space I'm in. And that, you know what, I honor and appreciate those old past wounds, because you know what? That's a beautiful love mark. That's a beauty mark, let's say. Instead of it being a scar, it's like, you know, warriors. They come out and they have these wounds. It's like that. I overcame that, and so that's what I have left, and I honor and love that even more, because had I not gotten that or had that experience, I wouldn't be the beautiful person I am today. And so that's all part of embracing and becoming free and true in your own authentic expression of you. So if you want to make sure that you're seeing me go live, make sure that you're following on my personal page. Click on the very top. I think it's where it says friends. You click that and it allows you to see follow and see first on notifications for, like, especially if I go live and you really enjoy this. Because ultimately I mean, I'm not going to ask you to share this or anything. This is me just showing up, and if you want to make sure that you're seeing it, I want to make sure that you're doing it on your own accord. So I'm not here to force anybody on anything. This is just me showing up and just sharing. And again, I'm out by the water. It is sunset. Look at this. There's a boat out there, and that boat it's turned over because it's stuck. It has a broken bow, I believe. And so I've understood that in order for them to get that fixed, it's going to be an interesting experience. It's kind of stuck on something too underneath the pilings is my other understanding. So I hope you're all excited. This is Friday, right? Aw, thank you, beautiful. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Hi, Susan. Is there anything going on out there in your life that you want to share? Do you have any questions that maybe I can address? I mean, I'm here. I'm open for questions. How about that? Because sometimes maybe I talk too much, and maybe I can expand upon something that'll make you feel a little bit better, or maybe it'll inspire someone else. Because that's the beauty of engaging. If you ask a question in the comments, then if I answer that question, then it might actually spark something in someone else. And so this is the beauty of engaging and that open dialogue. You know, sometimes we have to have those uncomfortable conversations to really grow and go, wow, if I hadn't have had that conversation with that other person, I might not have been enlightened to another way of seeing things. You know, we don't all have to agree. We can agree to disagree and just appreciate that we all have our own opinions and experiences, and that's what makes us each unique. And so there's where how we serve one another, is showing up for one another without trying to fit in or resist someone else's uniqueness or try to fix anyone, period. We all want to be accepted. We all want to be loved. The true freedom is in accepting yourself first and owning yourself, your personal power, your value, your self-worth, your loving inside. If you're able to do that for yourself, you're doing it for others too. It's never just for you. Selfishness in a selfless manner. Impersonally showing up, which means to be neutral and not take sides. There's no positive or negative. They both make up the whole. It's just when we're out of balance, that contrast shows you the imbalance. I love that. And I'm always evolving. I'm always growing. I'm always learning something new. Not seeing any comments. Is it just not moving, or you just don't have anything to say? Is it that peaceful of a day, reflective? How are you going to spend this weekend? How about that? So, okay. Well, if there's no questions or comments, I can take Buddy on his way. Hi, Angie. Let me see. I think you are a strong, healthy woman and have a great vast of knowledge that I love learning from. You are calming for me, also reminding me of a mother figure. How beautiful. And I truly, truly appreciate your feedback on that. Angie, you are just, oh, thank you so much, dear. Oh, and Kathleen, I get it if you're working. That warms my heart, and I truly appreciate and value you for showing up, and thank you for that feedback. Every little bit counts to me, and the more feedback I receive, the more I can show up and serve you in a better manner. So if there's anything at any point, especially during this video, I'd really appreciate if I am not live and you want to type something in there still, I'm still going to come back and respond to all of your comments. I really want to engage with all of y'all more. I want you to feel like you have this sacred space, that if you ask me a question, that you know I'm going to be here for you as much as I possibly can. I mean, if I don't have answers, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell you from my personal experience. And that in itself is all I can offer anyway. You know, I'm not anyone's guru. I just am who I am. And I've had my experiences based on my past, and as well as each and every one of us, nobody ever has the same. Carla, that is absolutely beautiful. That is a beautiful way to really come out into this new moon planting seeds, to write letters to someone who's hurt or abused you, and then releasing that, oh my God. And people you feel you may have hurt. You know, that ho'oponopono, it's like, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. It's showing that maybe your intention was never to hurt anybody, and it may have just happened. Just like if someone does something to you, maybe their intention wasn't to hurt you, it just happened. We don't need to get upset about it, but if we can step back and we're good with us, it won't affect us as much. Just like if we do something and somebody feels hurt from our own actions and our intentions were as pure as possible, of course it means that something came up for that other individual to notice whether or not they did or not. Maybe there was a trigger, maybe there was an old hurt wound that you kind of like put some salt on, and it wasn't intentional. But the most important thing you can do if that happens is to not get upset and re-victimize the other person or the hurt party, because what happens is if they are vulnerable enough to tell you, hey, you hurt my feelings, that really wasn't very nice, and you say, whoa, I'm so sorry, I'm really sorry that happened, it wasn't my intention whatsoever, I honor where you're at and appreciate you for sharing that with me. Because a lot of times the miscommunication is that the other person's not listening, and we react sometimes. I've done this in my past but that wasn't what I meant to do, this is what I meant. Breathe through it, recognize that maybe, even though despite your intentions, your best intentions coming from a place of love, or even sometimes maybe there was no intention and you just said something that caused that other person to be triggered, just honoring them and not bringing it up as a victimizing situation, like trying to explain yourself and make that person feel like, oh, I shouldn't have felt that way. Well, you know what? It was true for them. If they felt hurt and pain from that, you're never going to be able to change that. But what you can do is change the outcome of the experience by going, wow, you know, I'm really sorry. I did not mean for that to happen to you. How can I make that right? How can we bring this back to a more compassionate understanding of love? Because too often, if we're the type of people that grew up in a victimized, abusive situation, there is the natural tendency to go into, oh, I didn't mean to do that. No, you shouldn't feel that. When in reality, it's just listening to how the person felt and going, wow, I'm so sorry. That wasn't my intention. And not having to explain yourself, because in the end, even just explaining yourself may come across as you invalidating their feelings. So, awesome. Yes, every opportunity is an opportunity to respond differently, as opposed to reacting from that fight or flight, that hurt space, which is usually coming up from our childhood wounds, or like the animal backed up into a corner, which in itself is painful enough. We're getting ready, the sun is setting, and this will be my little tribute to all y'all. Let's see how we can do this. Oh, looky. Oh, look at that. Look at where I am at. So maybe I'll get a little bit of both. So isn't that gorgeous? So I'll go a little dark just so you can appreciate this sunset. Ah. Tonight is a very relaxing evening for myself. I'm just saying I need a little downtime. This has to heal. Moon cycle, ladies, we should be honoring and going within and not allowing ourselves to forget about the self-care element. I may be drawing myself an Epsom salt bath. I have a very early morning tomorrow and a teacher training day. And then just to remind y'all, Tom's birthday is on Sunday. So that'll be a very special day, and I'm really excited about that. So we have some beautiful things coming up in the Ridiculously Authentic group. If you haven't already introduced yourself, please do me a favor and ninja flip on over in there. Introduce yourself. We have liftoff. It's called The Ambulance is Going By. Okay, so hopefully now it's not so loud and I was able to cover that up. But again, I wanted to share with you this I know, right? The beautiful sunset out by the waterfront. It is low tide. Yeah, there they go now because now they've passed by. Buddy is over there patiently laying over in the sand. He's actually been so good. He gets a little spoiled now. He wants to snip everything, which is fine by me. That's awesome. He makes my day because he gets me out of the house and I get moving my body. So again, ninja flip on over into Ridiculously Raw Authentic and introduce yourself because we're there for you all. It's your playground. Get your Love Spin Boom on. Ooh, I haven't done one of those in a while. I don't know that I can do it with this headset on, but I can try. Let's see how creative I can get over here. They're passing your house now. How funny is that? All right, we're gonna Love Spin Boom and then I'm gonna say goodnight. That's cute. Boom. What? I love you. I hope you have an amazing evening. Be blessed. You be you.